What if you could automate customer support and never answer the same question twice? In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a customer support AI agent that is able to answer questions from an FAQs document, check order details from Shopify, and escalate any question that's not able to answer to its manager. This AI agent can respond to customer queries in real time, retrieve live order information from Shopify, and free up your workload so you can focus on what's important. I'll walk you through the entire process and I'll even show you a demo of how it works. Let's get started. So I'm gonna send an email to the email address that I've attached this AI agent to. And I'm just gonna send a basic customer inquiry. So my socks, and I'm gonna say, hi there, I want to know if my order has been shipped. My number is 1001, so I will press send. And now if I go into Relevance AI, what we will see is we'll see the agent eventually get that inquiry. Okay, so now we can see it's actually responded to this email right here. So let us know it's sent an email response, and we could see the subject. So if I go into my email, here is the email that it's actually sent me. So we could see I've checked your order. Here's the update. It's also given us a tracking link as well. And it's also signed off with a nice finisher right there. So that is how it works. It's able to answer FAQs, answer specific questions about orders. But yeah, now let's get into the build. Okay, so here's a plan for what we're going to build for this particular AI agent. But there's 3 tools we're going to build here. The first is the knowledge retrieval tool, which will allow the AI agent to refer to a database of question and answers whenever a customer submits a question. Next, we have the Shopify order retrieval tool, which will allow the agent to get any data on any orders within our Shopify store, allowing it to answer any customer questions. So answering questions like, has my order been shipped yet? Where is it? Etc. You'd be able to do that with this Shopify order status. And then lastly, we have a Gmail integration, which will allow the AI agent to send an email in Gmail. On top of that, I've also created some fake FAQs. Obviously, you would use real ones from your store or your business. And I've just made these with ChatGPT, and I've exported them as a PDF so I can upload them as well. This is the fake Shopify store I've created just to use as an example for this particular AI agent. It's a basic sock store. We have 3 products: a blue sock, a green sock, and a red sock. All right, so now we've gone through the basics. Now let's get into the build. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is create the knowledge base for the AI agent to refer to. Once you are logged into Relevance AI, it's really just a no-code platform that allows you to build AI agents. If this is your first time seeing this dashboard and it's a little bit overwhelming, I do have another tutorial that you could follow, which is more beginner friendly. And I'll leave that somewhere up here or in the description below. All right, so we'll head to knowledge right here, and we'll just click on create table. And what you want to do here is simply whatever format your FAQs taken place is the format that you want to upload it with. So I've got a PDF, so I'm going to do that. But if your FAQs was on a website, you could also do that, or you can upload it as a table as well. So we'll click on upload file, give it a quick name. So I'll name it socks FAQs, and then we'll just upload it. So I need to just search for mine here. All right. And then we'll upload that. This will take a minute. Once it's done, we'll have that knowledge base within Relevance AI. If you want to follow along with this example directly, I'll leave a link to this set of FAQs that you can use for your own example. I'll also leave a link to the template as well. All right, so we can see our data set is in there. So once we click into here, we could see these are the FAQs that I've created. And the FAQs consist of basic questions. What sizes do your socks come in? All right, so now let's get into creating the tools for this AI agent. I normally create the tools before I create the agent. That's a process I normally follow just because it makes sense to me. When you are creating the agent, you have to do things like selecting the tools, and then you also have to enter the instructions and the flow, which include those tools as well. So for me, it makes sense to create the tools first. So we'll go into tools. And the first tool we're going to create is the knowledge retrieval tool. So we'll click on new tools. And the first thing we want to do is we just want to name the tool. I'm just going to put a 2 at the end of the line because I already have this tool within my workspace. And you want to type in a short description of the tool. These are important because it lets the AI agent know how it's going to use this tool. So we'll type in a short description, use this to answer questions about a sock store. Okay, now we need to select the inputs that the agent is going to use with this tool. In this case, the input is going to be the question that it wants an answer to. It would have got this question from an email from a customer or a WhatsApp message, whatever trigger you decide works best. We'll select text, click on input, and name this input the query. Here we'll describe how to fill out this input. This gives the instructions for the AI agent on how to use this particular input. The more detailed your description, the easier it will be for your AI agent to know what to do. So in this case, we'll just name this the question you would like an answer. Next, we just need to name our variable by selecting this little green icon here. So we'll name this variable query. And now we need one more step, which is an LLM step. This will help the AI agent get the question and form an appropriate answer. I would start off with a prompt. You are a customer support agent. Your goal is to answer the questions in a polite manner. Next, we'll give it the context here. And the context is going to be that knowledge base that we've just created here. So we want to reference that. We'll type in context, not content. And start by typing in the 2 squigglies. Once you've typed in the 2 squigglies, we should see the knowledge base we've entered. If you don't see it, you need to select this section here. So we don't see it because I forgot a step. So we'll just click on this knowledge base here, click on add knowledge, and we can search through the data sets. I know I named mine socks. There we go. All this data set is now part of this tool. If we select this here, we could see the knowledge has been included right here. So now I've included all the FAQs in this particular LLM. Next, I will normally have the question like this. We'll go with question, double braces again, and select the query variable. This is the question it's brought in right here. I would normally leave the answer section blank. Let's give this one a test. Ask a question by typing in this box, what color socks do you sell? I'll just save this. Always make sure to save your tools when you are building them because it can be annoying. I've done that a couple of times. So we'll ask the question again. What color socks do you sell? And we'll expand this. Now when we run the step, we can see it's developed an answer here. So we currently offer socks in 3 bold colors, red, blue, and green, which is correct, as we saw from our store earlier. If you have any colors in mind that you'd like to see, feel free to let me know. Okay, so it's given a nice answer, but that is the knowledge retrieval tool right there. You can make this as in-depth and in detailed as you want. If you have a full list of FAQs, you can really just go for it, upload it, and it's able to get those answers for you. So we'll save that one there. So that's the knowledge retrieval tool. Okay, so we're gonna now create the Shopify order retrieval tool. You can see I've already got some in here for my previous recordings that didn't work, but I want you to click on new tool up here. And now once we are inside the tool, I want you to just name the tool Shopify. I'm actually going to name mine the Shopify order right. And once we've named it, now we just need to type in a description for the tool so the AI agent knows how to use it. So use this tool to retrieve order details from Shopify. Okay, so we have our title and description. Now we need to select the inputs for the tool. I know from using Shopify in the past that when you receive a order confirmation as a customer, you get a summation of everything that you've ordered, but you also get a number attached to your email address, which is the reference number for your particular order. This is known as the order name, and we can use it as a marker for a particular order. When a customer comes in and says, I want to know what address you've shipped my order to, or I want to know if my order has been shipped, is able to use that and then go and search for the particular order. So we'll click on text, and the input is going to be order name. And the description, we're going to say the order name of the order you want to get details for. And then I'm also going to give an example. So this is typically a number, for example, 1001. And then you would use whatever is relevant for whatever's going on in your Shopify store. And we just want to name the variable here. So I'll just name this order underscore name. Now for this next part, we're going to implement an API step. Now, if you haven't used an API step before, or you find that a little bit intimidating, don't worry. This is going to be really easy, and I'm going to take you through step by step. And I'm also going to explain it in the most basic way possible. We're going to take this really slow, and I'm going to explain it in the most basic way possible. The AI agent is essentially going to go to Shopify's database, and the first thing Shopify is going to ask for is, what shop do you want some information on? And we'll give the URL to the store. And once we're in the store, we're going to need a point of data that we actually want to collect. So in this case, it will be information about a particular customer's order. For example, if we have order 1001. It's going to go to the Shopify database, knock on its door and say, I want information for this particular order from this particular store. If we have the right credentials, Shopify will say, okay, here's all the information. This is what the AI agent would be able to use to have information on that particular order. So it's really simple. And now we're going to set that up. The first thing I want you to do is click on API right here. And the first thing I want you to make sure is this method right here is set to get, because we are getting information from another database. That's an easy way to think about it. Now we need to add in a URL. So I've got this URL from looking at the Shopify API documentation. We're going to be using this URL that we see on screen right here. If you want to follow along, I've also left the URL in the description as well. And we'll explain exactly what this is. The first part of the URL is the URL of your Shopify store. This is the URL of my example Shopify store that I've got here. It's just telling the database where and what information we want. So in this case, we are looking at the order name, and that's the data that we want it to return to us. And then lastly, we have the order number as well. So we'll copy this and we'll paste this here. For this order number section, we're actually not going to use it. We're going to use variable that the AI agent would have inputted right here. To do that, just remove the order number from the last part of it right here. Now what I want you to do is hit space, and we should be able to select the variable right there. So order name. Now, what we need to do is we need to select essentially when we ask Shopify for data, it's going to ask us for some credentials to make sure we are who we say we are. Otherwise, I could go into your Shopify store and just extract any data I wanted. To do that, we need to give it a password if you like. And this password is known for Shopify as an access token. So we need to set that as a header here. So what we can do is we'll type in X Shopify access dash token right here. Now we need to set the value for this access token. If you don't know what your access token is, or you've never got it before, I'll show you how to do it. If you know what it is from using other automations, you would just copy and paste that here. To get your access token, go into your Shopify store, go to your settings area. Once you're in your settings area, click on app and sales channels, develop apps, and we'll create an app. We'll name this relevant tutorial, or name it whatever you want. We'll create the app right here. Now what you want to do is configure this. So we'll click on configuration. And this is where you set up what data you want it to access, essentially. In our case, we want it to see orders and customer info because that's what we want it to use. But if you wanted the AI agent to have any other abilities within your Shopify store, this is also where you can set it up. So first we'll start by searching order, and then we'll click on read customers here. And then we also want to read orders, so we'll go to read orders down here as well. You can see there are a few other abilities, so it can write orders, which is really the creation of orders as well. You can edit them as well. So if you wanted to give your AI agent some other abilities, this is where you can do it. But today we're going to keep it simple. We just want it to read the customers and read the orders. We'll hit save. And now what you need to do is click on API credentials, install the app. And once we've installed the app, you'll be able to see your access token right here. So then what you want to do is you just want to reveal the token once, and you would copy that. And if anyone's watching, by the time this is posted, this will definitely be deleted if I haven't blocked it out in the video. So we'll just paste the value here. And once you've pasted that value there, we'll just save this particular tool. And now we'll just enter an example here into this field here. So 1001. The first input we have is the message ID. And you just need to input the description of what the message ID is. And you just need to name your variable. Beneath that, we have the Gmail thread ID. And we have that here as well, along with the Gmail thread. And just for your reference, these are all text inputs. So you just want to enter the text here and then enter the variables there as well. Just for your reference, the reason why we're adding a message ID and a Gmail thread ID is to allow the AI agent to include its emails within the same thread for the customer, just to make things a little bit more convenient. Next, we have the email address that we want to send an email to, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have the description there. We've added that variable there as well. The email contents that we want to send, so the actual content of the email, and we have that here as well. Lastly, we have the email subject. I've asked it to keep the email subject the same because this is another thing you need to have for it to be included within the same thread. For the next bit, I have a send a Gmail email step. If you're using another email provider, say Outlook or something like that, you would click on add step, and then you could search Outlook because Outlook has a direct integration there. And if you're looking for the Gmail one, you would simply type in Gmail. You would scroll down and select send Gmail email. Once we expand that, the first thing you want to do is select your Gmail account. If you have already connected a Gmail account to Relevance AI, you would select it from the drop down. If you haven't, click on add account and follow the steps. Make sure you're signed into your Google account. The idea behind this is you would use the Gmail account of your customer support email. Here, we would now just enter the variables that we want it to go through. So the email we want it to send to, we would just select that variable here. The email subject, we would also select from our list of variables, and the email contents as well. And then I just want you to click on this small settings button. In the message ID, you just want to include that here. And then scroll down in the Gmail thread ID field, you just want to include that variable that we created for Gmail thread ID here as well. And then hit save, and that is the final tool done. So now it's time to create the AI agent. So we're going to navigate back to the home, click on new agent here. And the first thing we're going to do is name the agent. I like to name the agent just because it gives it a bit of fun. So we'll just name this CC, the customer support rep. You want to give an agent description. This is important if you decide to have your agent as part of a team of other agents as well. And let's see other agents know how to interact with this particular agent. I'm just going to copy and paste a description I made before. If you're unsure of what to put for the description, you can type out 2 or 3 lines and then get ChatGPT to make it a bit neater. Now, when we scroll down, we could select our triggers as well. So if your customer support has an email address, you can just connect your customer support email address to that right here, and anytime it receives an email, it's going to decide whether or not to respond. If you're using your customer support slightly outside of email, you can also set that up as a trigger, and then when it responds, it'll keep it within the same ticket. Or you could use WhatsApp for Business. In this particular setup, once you do set it up, it's only going to work for texting, not for voice notes. If we want to set up for voice notes, we need to add extra flows, which is outside the scope of this. If you want to see that, let me know. The next thing we want to do is go into this ability section and give it the ability to escalate to someone. So I'll select an email right here. If you want to add a Slack account, you'll have the option to do that. Now we just want to add the tools we created. So Gmail, Shopify order retrieval, and knowledge base. Click into each of these tools. I'm going to set them to auto run because I don't want it to ask me to use each tool. But if you were testing things out and you're unsure, you can set it to approval required for the email before it actually sends. And then for the core instructions, you want to add these right here. If you haven't made any core instructions for an AI agent before, essentially these are the instructions that details how it should use the tools and how it should operate essentially. And if you haven't used these before, so this isn't going to be the be all end all of prompt engineering, if there's any kind of prompt engineering experts out there, but you essentially, the format I would typically use is I would start off by giving it a role, then giving it an objective, and also some examples of different scenarios. So we could see I've got a role here. You can also use ChatGPT to make this. I know for prompt engineering, it's probably not the best. But if you're just getting started with doing simple stuff, you can tell ChatGPT what you're trying to achieve, give it a rough structure and the tools you're using, and it should be able to produce something. The last thing we want to do here is to reference the tools you're using as well. For example, what you want to reference your tools, you just hit the / and then we'll reference the particular tool here as well. So in this case, we have the Shopify order retrieval, and then you can see the areas where I've actually referenced the other tools in the instructions here. Use the knowledge retrieval tool to find the most relevant FAQ answer, for example, and send via Gmail as well. This gives the AI agent a full set of instructions and when to use each tool as well. And once we are happy with that, so we have our core instructions. You can also use a flow builder as well, but I probably won't do it for this one. The flow builder will reinforce what's in the instructions. You can also reinforce some conditional situations as well. Once we've added the abilities, the tools, and everything else, we can click confirm. I'll just double check the trigger. I didn't actually add the trigger, so I'll do that by selecting Gmail. We'll confirm for that email address there. So now it's going to be watching this email address, and anytime it receives a customer support email, you would select your own customer support email that you're using for your store or your business, and it'll be able to answer those questions from there. So let's have a play with it in the chat section here. If I just ask it a question, hi there, I was wondering what's the status of my order. My order is 1001. And you could obviously send this via email as well. We'll hit and so one I sent earlier. So, hello, I want to know if my order is shipped. Can you help me? So we can see the message has been triggered. Yep, I've checked and it's given a nice response. So I've checked the order. Here's the update. Let me know if anything else. All right, that is a full tutorial on the customer AI agent. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. If there's any parts you want an explanation on, also let me know. Thanks.